Okay, good day, everyone. You're welcome to Setro's vlog today. And this is that Setro, the most handsome, capable African nations, currently pumping a physical husband. And I have beside me my most scintillating, pepperoni, sugarlicious, hot baby girl.
Yes, you are most welcome to Setro's vlog today. I remain Jokia Tolu and Setro, and it's really interesting having you on this live stream this evening for such an interesting topic as this.
Okay, to a lot of persons, what we are discussing this evening is just how to balance whatever has been happening between the two giants in Africa, or if you might put it in a different way, the two most outstanding economies within the continent of Africa, and that is between South Africa and Nigeria itself. Before we start delving into who says what they said, what they did not say, what is going on in South Africa has been of concern because a whole lot of persons from numerous countries within the continent of Africa, they are beginning to see South Africa in a different shape, and that is of utmost importance for us to really dissect so that we are not lopsided in our view. We can look at South Africa and Nigeria and look at what exactly is happening between these brothers, and now expatiating further on what has been going on between South African people and the rest of the African populace, from Mozambique to Ghana to Togo, different kind of experiences that they have been shipping back to their country. In fact, South Africa is saying, you know what? We are done with this collaborative effort of having you guys on our soil. We want you out. But before we begin to jump, before we begin to castigate one brother or the other, let us settle down to actually see through where it all began and why South Africa is behaving the way they are behaving, and why Nigerians are not having it, why Mozambicans and is it Mozambican they call them? Why the rest of the African continent are like, we knew you guys before apartheid was over. But now that it seems that your country is relatively experiencing some new norms, what are you doing to us? But in the real sense of it, we're also going to see the apartheid that we assume to have stopped or to have come to an end in South Africa, as it actually started. We are going to also be looking at ministers, people that are in charge of the economic affair or the political affair, rather, how they have been able to manage communication effectively so that they don't say A and the A is being misconstrued as B. Or the one that has been painful to Nigerians, the fact that some persons were quoted to utter words that are what? Categorizing the whole of Nigeria as drug country. Okay, I have a series of videos that I want us to go through here, but okay, let's start with the first video, then we jump right to the discussion. Okay, I really love this video to come up now. Maybe the video, the video is scared of showing up at this moment. Okay, let's see the one that
gruesome interrogation techniques, and Nnemeka Matthew Andrew Ekpeyon, who died in the custody of the Swano Metro Police, with a search of his residence yielding no incriminating evidence whatsoever.
Okay, just a minute.
A third Nigerian, Musa Yona Joe, also known as Big Joe, was killed by unidentified attackers in front of his shop, according to the statement. These are not just statistics. These are men with names, with families, who went to South Africa to work and build a life. And as Nigeria mourns South Africa's minister in the presidency has not only rejected the compensation demand, but asked Nigeria to reveal its drug dens, Rufai. Can you imagine? A remark the federal government has rightly described as derogatory and unprofessional. Now, the two Nigerians are dead, allegedly at the hands of South African security forces. This diplomatic crisis is far from over, and Nigeria will not be silent. But the question that demands an answer is this: if South Africa's own security forces are killing Nigerians, who exactly is protecting them?
Okay, I would like us to listen to a particular side of the story from the statement that was made by the minister in the SA presidency. Let's start with that. Let's see.
If you own a business, it's registered with the CIPC. If you're renting offices, they're registered with landlords. But we'll be interested to know where the drug dens of Nigerians are. So they can show us where they've been holding the drugs so that we can clean the drugs in South Africa quite urgently.
South Africa's ministers.
Okay. I'm pausing that video to just talk a little while about this. Let me quickly remove the video. You heard it point blank there, where the minister, a particular minister in South Africa, came up with this statement that Nigerians should show them the drug den. That statement alone, not mentioning some Nigeria, but categorizing the whole of Nigeria as drug pushers or people that are into a country of drug dealers. Is that really something that we should fight over? It could be painful because some persons are coming up to say you cannot use the activity of some few numbers of persons to generalize everyone. What will you say about that?
What they call it in literature, using a part for a whole and using a whole for a part, it's totally not applicable in this sense. Like, it's the culprit that should have been brought to justice, as in there are this particular set of Nigerians. We all know that Nigerians are known for doing great things all across the globe, not just because one is a Nigerian. So as good Nigerians are, so also we have the ones that are not. And that's how it is in every race. It's just everywhere. But I think it's just a misinformation. And I think the South Africans are really, they are really annoyed with Nigeria for now. I think that's just the real thing. And they are really saying, for them just to generalize because of this particular set of people and say, all Nigerians, so are we drug dealers? Are those doctors, those nurses, those engineers, all those great professionals doing us great outside the continent of Africa, are they drug dealers? They are not. So it's, and I want to say it's also their own view. So one thing in life is I tend to allow people's view, because what you say about me, I know it's bringing a dent on the image of Nigerians across the globe, I know, but not really, because by my own works, you're going to see that what you've said concerning me. I think I had a scenario when I was much more younger in school, and we stayed back. We usually read after school. So our principal there was highly, as in a disciplinarian. So she would say, all these youths that are staying after school, they are bad youths. They are going into boyfriend and girlfriend, doing all these bad things. So I had this group of friends, we were like 4, 5 girls. We were studying, doing videos of book. Then one of my friends made a statement. She said, I pray that our results will prove to this principal that we're not bad. And if I mention the name of my school now, and that was what happened. When our results came out, they even called our names on the assembly, that these Joker and our group, they are very good, because we did excel very well. We exceeded the limits. And she said, I never knew that good people can still be staying after school and reading. So you don't generalize just because of the past. That's just the story behind that.
You know where it is very painful? Maybe we should just look at it this way. You are talking, I want to believe that Nigeria is about a population of over 280 million presently. Nigeria is a country that has over 280 million persons. And I want to believe that the number of Nigerians that are in South Africa, they are not up to 100 million.
100
They are not even up to 30 million.
Yeah.
You understand? So, and I'm not sure they are even up to 20 million. So, what statistics are you working with? That was the part that so many Nigerians have been upset about. That how can you just carry maybe the actions of few? I'm talking of how many Nigerians have you caught with drugs in South Africa? I want to believe they're not up to 20 million. So how can you use the action of one or two to generalize against over 280 million persons? Mind you, the population of South Africa is within the range of 65 million and above. So we can as well say that you will get like times three. No, what's times three? Times four of South African population from Nigeria. So South Africa has not even experienced a quarter of Nigerians, of the population of Nigerians on their space. That is the side of those that have been annoyed in Nigeria that blah, blah, blah. Why should this kind of generation comment be coming from a sitting minister? And that is where the aspect of diplomacy needs to be well managed between both countries so that we don't have what we call an economic brouhaha. but just like we said, there are several videos I would also like to play here before we begin to balance things out. Because let's ask ourselves, what gave the impression to this minister that Nigerians are a country of drug dealers? It might have been that some of the Nigerians that they met with, maybe they have one issue or the other, and they happen to have been involved in drugs. But that does not lead you to generalization that everybody is a drug dealer. And if you listen to the video that I just played, that was on one of Nigerian's TV stations, whereas they also mentioned the fact that some Nigerians are being killed in this process.
Some Nigerians working
legally that are well documented. They are being killed in South Africa. And that is bringing to bear the question of who is securing Nigerians in South Africa. So that is one side of the story. But we should also ask ourselves the question, what are some Nigerians also doing in South Africa? Not all. Because you have a whole lot of fantastic Nigerians doing great things in your hospitals, in your numerous investment sectors, banking and the likes of that. They have been doing great and contributing. Oh, Crown Shegun says, good talk, sir. Thank you so very much, Shegun Crown. So what we are talking about here is the fact that especially those that are occupying political space, they should learn a little bit of being diplomatic so that we don't just let the country or the continent boil. Because this one now, if the two giants are fighting, that's the whole continent being shaken. Now, if we have opportunity, let me try to play this other video. Let's see if it plays. The remaining part of that session of
Ministry of Foreign Affairs confirmed that 2 Nigerians have been killed in South Africa's security custody. Emeka Charles Iregbu was killed after police officers used gruesome interrogation techniques, and Nnemeka Matthew Andrew Ekpeyon, who died in the custody of the Swano Metro Police, with a search of his residence yielding no incriminating evidence whatsoever. A third Nigerian, Musa Yona Joe, also known as Big Joe, was killed by unidentified attackers in front of his shop, according to the statement. These are not just statistics. These are men with names, with families, who went to South Africa to work and build a life. And as Nigeria mourns, South Africa's minister in the presidency has not only rejected the compensation demand, but asked Nigeria to reveal its drug dens. Rufai, can you imagine? A remark the federal government has rightly described as derogatory and unprofessional. Now, the 2 Nigerians are dead, allegedly at the hands of South African security forces. This diplomatic crisis is far from over, and Nigeria will not be silent. But the question that demands an answer is this: if South Africa's own security forces are killing Nigerians, who exactly is protecting them?
Wow. So, from what you've just listened to, you can see that Nigeria is trying to say, okay, if you are sending off people from your country, so many of them are well documented. They have papers, the necessary papers to stay in your country, to do 1 or 2 business transactions there. But they have to flee for their lives now because of the level of hostility that was going on in South Africa. They have to be alive. Also, they have to vacate, especially with the fact that they are being attacked by different class of mobs, meaning that it is not even the immigration in South Africa that is involved in checking papers now. You now have ordinary citizens going about and harassing people in their business locations and the like. So, for safety reasons, so many of them are moving back to Nigeria. But the properties, the businesses they left there, you have to pay. But instead of addressing this diplomatically and try to see how to douse the tension, what we're having is the fact that the minister, the so-called minister, came up and said something that was more gaslighting. That is the part that is really making, creating a piece-off from the Nigerian side. I hope we've gotten that. Then aside that, there is another video that I would like us to look through before we start talking about what and worth. In short, because we need to sit down and understand what South Africa is going through, what South Africans are going through, and what other African countries that are migrated to South Africa are also going through, so that we can balance the equation. We can now see that there is always a better way to handle issues. Okay, this next video is another video that is painful to Nigerians. Let's take a listen.
And we want to encourage them, when they go to other countries, they must take care of other countries. Today we've got zombies in our street as our children because of them. And that has cut deep in our hearts. And that has made us to resent.
Okay. I think this woman was
farewell to Nigeria, to make sure that they are leaving our country, and to say to them, bye-bye Nigeria. Thank you for all you contributed in our country. We did not appreciate the wrongs that you have done, and we hope that you have learned a lesson. And we want to encourage them, when they go to other countries, they must take care of other countries. Today we've got zombies in our street as our children because of them. And that has cut deep in our hearts. And that has made us to resent them with all that we have. And we hope that they take a journey safe. Next time they come, they know South Africa loves its people and its country. Well, to others, we say thank you for being here, especially those who took care of our country. But Nigeria, particularly, is because of their behavior and the evil that which they've done in our country. They've hijacked our properties, they've killed our children with drugs, and that is the reason why we are so strong on Nigeria, because of their behavior. Others are better. They live amongst our people. They live in our community. They take care of our things. They're not as horrible as Nigeria is. And Nigeria is horrible. These people are horrible.
Okay. You heard that point blank. Bishop, this lady introduced herself as the president of one of the party. That, funny enough, I've never heard of that party before until a video started circulating, and you can see is with mixed feeling. If you really need to look at that video, I'll just say, just calm down, don't be too biased. Just look at how the angle with which she's reasoning from. She's talking that Nigerians. In short, she went to the airport to send forth some Nigerians that are leaving. That they are happy that Nigerians are leaving. They turned their children to zombies, meaning stating that some Nigerians. She wasn't saying some, but I'm just saying some because they are saying it as if it's the whole Nigerians that are there that are doing drugs and the likes, of which you and I know that there is no country in this world that you do not have the good, the bad, and the ugly. But generalizing everything, calling Nigerians, including me, calling Nigerians drug pushers, that is not called for. But you know what? We will not blame you. We will address the matter later. We will not blame you. If it is not so I will interpret that. I will interpret that later on. You can remind me. Because if Nigerians were not in your country, you will not have this opportunity to insult intelligent Nigerians. But the other side is that she was talking about the fact that their children are being turned to zombies because of the drugs that Nigerians brought in. But there is something that they usually say: it takes two to tango. If there is no taker, there will be no seller. So that means that actually some persons are in South Africa taking drugs, and that is why there is a market for those that are selling it. So you can all see that we cannot now come and say, the whole of South Africans are drug addicts. No, that is not how to balance words out, because we will always have, in any society, we always have those that are out of range. Let me just put it that way. Then she moved on to mention some other aspects that are laughable but painful. It's laughable or painful. That Nigerians are grabbing your properties, snatching your properties. And I'm like, how is it possible for Nigerians to snatch your properties, to take your properties fraudulently there? That means there is also some level of compliance for corruption. That some level of corrupt practices that is being perpetrated by those South Africans that would have allowed any foreigner to come into your country and take over a particular place without following due process. So you can see that every country has their own issues, but we will address this. It's just for us analyzing this video one by one to now see if it is possible to make some persons relax, that there is no fight. Nigerians and South Africans are not at war, but they only need to sit down and ask themselves some questions. One, if Nigeria is very good, what will I be doing in South Africa? You see that? If South Africa is very, very holy, they are so nice, they are countries of angels, why will properties that genuinely belongs to South Africans be taken over by foreigners? Is either your people are corrupt, just like the Nigerians, just like some Nigerians that you are castigating. That shows that they are all human beings.
Correlation.
That's a correlation. So you are brothers, brothers in crime. So now that means that you guys are brothers. Those perpetrating that evil, they are brothers in crime in both countries. So no country is a saint, and no country should be stigmatized as if everybody there are just into that. Then secondly, the issue of papers. It becomes problematic when people that are not commissioned to handle documentation, immigration documentation, are the ones roaming the streets, moving from shops to shops, attacking fellow Africans, fellow black men like themselves. To the extent that there are some videos that you don't want to see, and I will never show it. They were beating fellow Africans as if they are nobody, as if they are not human beings. Those are not supposed to be. Now, this same lady that I mentioned happens to be in another video, and it's so pathetic because she went with some group of persons to actually confront a Nigerian. It's like this particular lady have interest in Nigerians. Maybe some Nigerians are really hurt her that bad that she has decided that I must just take Nigerians as my project. Okay, I will play this video. You will listen to the conversation. Then we'll talk about it. Okay, waiting for the video pop up. Okay. I'm trying to play the video from beginning, or like the other guy that said beginning. Okay. Okay.
Muted.
Okay. I think I removed the sound from this particular video. In this particular video, this woman went with some group of South Africans to accost this Nigerian guy that happens to be an agent. He's working as an agent uh, that is maintaining this building. This particular building is owned by the whites. This particular building is owned by a white South African. And as such, getting there, they wanted to be harassing the guy and the likes. So the guy put a call across to the white South African. And you will see immediately she got talking to the white South African. All her ego seemed to crash land. She was asking for the full name of the white guy. He refused. And to the extent that the conversation was like, are you threatening me? She was the one that is now saying, is the white guy threatening her and the likes? What am I trying to bring up from this? I don't want to put the sound on this particular video. What am I trying to bring out from this? The issue is a lot of persons are reading into what is going on in South Africa. A lot of persons are saying, you know what, South Africans, you are not addressing the origin of your problem. You are not focusing on what your major challenge is. That you are only fighting your brothers that rose up to deliver you from apartheid. And I remember then, I think I was about 14 years old when apartheid was being done away with in South Africa, so to say, either on paper or in reality. And Nigeria really played massive role alongside so many African countries. But it will not also be sensitive of us to just come here and bring emotion to play and start castigating South African and start saying, oh, you know what, these guys are just full of shit, they are full of xenophobic, blah, blah, blah. No. Let us visit where their challenge is coming from. South Africans have their challenges dating back even beyond 1930. In the sense that as they move from one colonial master to the other, they have been largely oppressed. And I will be subtly, as I'm speaking, I'll be playing a video to you to show you a little bit of what is currently happening in South Africa, that they do not have power to even solve the challenge. You see all those places I'm showcasing to us? The left side is for the black South Africans. You can see how densely populated it is. Not well developed, poorly, no hygiene, low hygiene rather, poorly planned and the likes. But you see the right side, that is where you have the white South Africans. And they, you can see how, let me just stop it. Okay. I want to show you that dichotomy from area view. You can see how densely populated, okay? You can see that how densely populated the left-hand side is. The right side, you have it well planned out, well structured. That is how South African or South Africa has been largely demarcated. You have the extreme poverty to one side, which is largely in the black community. And you have affluence looking poverty in the face. To the extent that there is just a thin line demarcating between the two sides of the wall. But don't get it twisted. It all started with the fact that the land in South Africa happens to be largely placed in the hand of the white South Africans. Record shows that over 85% of the land, of the total land in South Africa belongs to the white Africans, white South Africans, who are largely, who are not more than 5% of the total population. You see that? But the black South Africans have been largely marginalized. They have been largely under benefiting. Let me use that word. They've not been benefiting much from their country. So now, with all this marginalization, with all this challenge that they already shortchanged on their own land by fellow South Africans that are white, you now have the influx of Africans from different countries coming into their land, setting up businesses in their already densely populated area. I'm trying to be Nigerians that are following this live stream. Let's calm down. Let's look at it so that we understand the frustration in the life of an average South African, black South Africans, so that we can reason along and begin to retrace some of the level of anger. Because to be sincere, South Africans did a lot that can be so annoying. But if you sit down to actually ask yourself, what is the challenge of these people? Why are they anti-blacks? We are their brothers. We assisted them to get to where they are now. Is this what they will use to repay us back? Calm down. Imagine a country that 85% of the land has been willed to the end or belong to 5% of their entire population that are white. And from this, I think I'll play this video over and over in this discussion. I'll play this video over and over in this discussion because it will show you, you can see that demarcation. Poverty looking at affluence. Then you see what you have. You have where the whites will pass through, where the black will pass through, and the like. There is that demarcation between the blacks and the whites. It has that particular one has been in motion before now, right from apartheid period. It's just now that a little bit of, but till presently, there are certain areas in South Africa that the blacks are not allowed to own anything there. So back to my story. Okay, I think I need to just hold on a minute. I think I need to. Okay. Now, back to my story. The fact is that these issues that they have internally, you are now bringing people from Africans, fellow Africans from other neighboring countries within the continent to settle in. And they are now going into businesses that South Africans consider as what is supposed to be the businesses that they should be doing, not foreigners. You understand? They do not expect, according to their law, foreigners are not expected to own a shop for some class of businesses that have been mapped out there. Those jobs are supposed to be for their citizens. So, and you know, when numerous people that are coming from other countries, they are coming to really struggle to make a living. So it's becoming a challenge to South Africans. And that is part of the reason why they are reacting. That, okay, they are seeing them as enemies coming to take the few crumbs, the crumbs that is on their table. But the question is, regardless of how we see it, it is a two-sided challenge. One is the fact that South Africans are facing crumbs in their own country, and they are seeing other Africans coming in as a threat, whereas it is not the fellow Africans that gave you the crumbs to start with. The crumbs has always been there. So why kill your fellow blacks because of the fight for crumbs? If I may say something here, South Africans are just trying to see how they can solve.
Is the challenge is transferred aggression. I think you should post the link for those who really appreciate if you're a South African
Yeah,
living in South Africa, if you can come clarify these issues, or if you are an African that have been to South Africa, would like to hear really
your
from
view.
the
Yeah,
horse's mouth, or if you know if you've been there before. But I just think it's transferred aggression, and just to be human, with all that has gone before, I know South Africans, they are trying, they are pained, they are reacting from a pain point. They've been so pained if 85% of their land is already taken over by the white South Africans, I mean the black South Africans now. And it's like they are treated like what in their own land. Just imagine in Nigeria now, we are Nigerians. We have the right to go to anywhere to say we want to have this land here. We're not restricted to anywhere. If you go to FCT today now, if you go to Federal Capital Territory, Abuja in Nigeria, you have the right to buy your land. You have to, so, but that is not so for them. So they are already like being marginalized already in their own country. They are feeling hot. The pain is really deep. They've been wounded already. So on top of it, and Nigerians, especially there is a particular tribe in Nigeria, which I would not like to mention. It's all about culture. We have various cultures. So their own culture may not be so, I just like to play so safe. So maybe they now come there and they now see that they've been pained already, they've been wounded. So you now still come there and you're now like trying to take over, try to be the one in charge of everything. And they are seeing it that you are really the one. And
the truth is just this plain. The truth is South Africans have internal pain already.
yes,
So no matter how any African will behave there, they will misinterpret it. That's just it. They are going through challenges. So when you come in as a migrant and you are rich, it will be offensive to them. Yeah, it will be painful to them. That's just how some human beings, largely every human beings are. It's only the ability to suppress that part of jealousy, the jealousy dose that might come in, because if you are frustrated and you are now seeing somebody coming in is not as frustrated as yourself, there is this crab effect, crab effect, where a crab is trying to get out of the basket. Every other crabs are saying, no, you must come down to join the train. So now, we are not going to just talk as if everything is rosy, South Africa is wrong. No. South Africans are going through a lot. Other Africans that are coming in, they are also going through a lot in their country. Otherwise, they would have stayed in their country.
And the influence, these Africans, they are not only going to South Africa. There's this word that if you go to any country in the world and you don't see Nigerians, then leave that country.
That country is not.
Because Nigerians are tough. If you are a Nigerian and you can survive in Nigeria, I tell you, you can survive anywhere in the world. And that's what gives every Nigerian that I can do it spirit. I can spirit. And wherever they get to, they try to walk well, like struggle, do all they can do, say, I must not go back the way I came here. And just to call a spade, if South Africans are doing it, I'll support them. I don't really know much about South African, but one thing I know about Nigerians is that they can struggle, man. They know what's happening in our nation here. So anywhere they have the opportunity to get to, they'll say, I must make it well. Except for the little bad eggs that are doing the drugs and all the likes. Yes, we are not going to say they are not. We know they are. They are, but we will not generalize based on that. And I think that's just one thing. All these other Africans too, they are going to other African countries too. So let's now imagine now, like, let me not even say, if as they are coming to Nigeria, they are coming to, they are going to Ghana, they are going to Mali, we are now all chasing ourselves. What's going on?
Let me come in. We've talked about the issue of land. Let's now talk about the issue of unemployment. Unemployment is also partly what making South Africans angry, in the sense that they have their own lifestyle, they have their own culture, they have their graduates, they have a whole lot being churned out of school in those black communities. But you will discover that because, whether we like it or not, Nigerians are smart, they are intelligent, and you can't joke with 280 million people vis-a-vis an average of 65 million persons. You will actually get more numbers of intelligent persons that are coming into your country. And this can spring up another battle of, oh, they are taking our jobs. The jobs that are supposed to be placed in the hands of the few South Africans. You are having Nigerians and the rest of them coming over to take over these jobs. That's another issue. Because there was a documentary I watched, and there is this particular, I would say, country within country that is being constructed, that is being set up, and in South Africa. I think if I'm right, they call it Africanus or something. I'm not so sure about the pronunciation. But in that interview, they were mentioning the fact that everyone that will work in that community, let me call it a community, everyone that will work in that community must be white South Africans. So that's to also tell you that, the black South Africans do not have job opportunities in any available space within their country. Meaning that they have limited numbers of employment skill, and before you know it, some more interesting, more smart Nigerians or other countries, or from other countries in Africa, are taking over these jobs from them. That is another issue that is coming up. Those are not trivial issues that we just overlook. Because before you see someone behaving so irrational from the way you are looking at it, just sit down and ask yourself, what is the origin of this? There is unemployment in the land, and more people are coming in to come and create additional competition. So the matter of land grabbing, that one is not what I think is sensible enough. Because if there is land grabbing, someone cannot just wake up from their country to come and grab your land in your country. It takes two to tango. There must be people within your community that are selling whatever land to the people, and there will be an exchange of payment. So if I'm a lawyer, I will ask that such comment should be thrown overboard, because it is your people that are whatever sales behind whatever laws you guys are there. It is your people that will sell such land or such properties to foreigners. Whether they now have, whether they are properly documented or not properly documented is a different ball game. But I think that is partly what has been happening in South Africa. So the question of this documented migrant is a challenge. Don't mind noise. The noise is actually coming from those watching World Cup.
Okay, and people are still coming on the live stream.
Yeah, people.
Okay, and it's war. Okay,
You want to say something?
no.
Okay, so now, if there are several issues that need to be addressed, but okay, you want to say something?
Yes, as in I just see that the issue is really huge. The issue is huge. So as Africans, we should not just be castigating each other the derogatory statements might actually be, and the vituperative statement might actually be so painful. Just like when I heard all these ministers talking about Nigeria, even despite the fact that I am a Jesus babe, that I can still take some insult, it was still painful. Not to now talk of somebody that doesn't even know anything about Jesus, that will just take it like that and say, it will be like, I want to fight. What are you saying? No. But when you now think deeper too, you now look at the condition of South Africa and what South Africans, especially the black South Africans, are going through in their own nation. So it will pain you. You will feel the pain yourself if you want to be considerate.
There is another aspect that is also painful. You know, the rate of crime is also increasing in South Africa. The rate of crime is an offshoot of unemployment, because the higher the number of unemployed agile youth, what do you expect? The crime rate is going to shoot up, because they have the adrenaline, they have the bones intact, they have everything to make them work, but they do not have the opportunity to work, so it will shoot up. Then to now move on that rising crime or unemployment, you now have some foreigners bringing in drugs, shipping in drugs. That is why you see that woman, she was complaining that Nigerians have turned their children to zombies. It is wrong. It is not Nigerians. It is some class of persons. They might be Nigerians, they might be even your people. Your people, I'm sure there are some South Africans that are selling drugs. There are some Zimbabwe that are into drugs. That doesn't mean all Zimbabweans are into drugs. You have them all around. Anywhere in the world, there are people that are always doing one illicit business or the other. So it is only wrong for you to now paint the whole of Nigeria as what? A country of drug pushers, drug peddlers? No, that's not right. And that's not nice. So now you have at one side crime, inequality, and you have at the other side pressure on service delivery. Because more people, they already have little allocation to the black community. You now have more people flocking into South Africa, and the facilities are now being pressured. Yes, and that's why they decided entering into the hospitals, although that was uncalled for. That was not. But you know, what do you expect when some persons are pushed to the wall? The animal in them.
So they
were entering into the hospitals. I saw this once. They were entering into hospitals, sending off anybody that is not South African. Oh, that's awful.
But what of the immigration? What are they doing?
Immigration in South Africa, if I'm very correct, immigration, you just have about 800. Is it 800 people? Immigration officers. 800.
Okay, because that news we even heard
either
said
800 or 8,000.
law enforcement.
Hold on, either 800 or 8,000 immigration officers. I don't think they have to listen. So, out of how many? You understand? So they are even overweight, and South Africa is having about 30,000, 20 to 30,000 undocumented, either documented or undocumented, what's it called, immigrants. So is a whole web of challenges.
Yes, and that has to be solved as in a very as in amicable way so that the continent doesn't go into another thing.
But let me tell you, if you have valid reasons why you should be agitated, you want to fix your country, you want things to be done properly. But let me tell you, the origin of your challenge, you are not putting your hands on it. You are not addressing. In short, your government has refused. Your government has refused to help you solve so many of your challenge. And that is one thing that you need to have an handshake, a proper handshake with your government to talk through your challenges, to see how you can resolve your problems. Because your problem is not the fellow poor African neighbors that have migrated into your countries, but the problem is about your resource allocation. I feel your resources have not been properly allocated, and there has not been a well thought out plan to really assist you guys towards some level playing ground. But it's not a problem that is only associated to South Africa. It is across the African continent. Majority of the countries in Africa are having that challenge of a huge dichotomy between the people and their government. The government is living in affluence, the people are living in abject poverty. But imagine if Nigerians were to stand up and start attacking
South Africans.
South Africans and South African businesses in Nigeria, you people are going to be in trouble. You know why? Because a lot of South Africans have investment here. We happen to be the largest market in Africa. So imagine the likes of your DSTV, your what's it called? Is it Go something something? Go TV, a whole lot, MTN and the likes. Imagine if Nigerians were to come against such businesses that nobody should transact with you guys and likes. You'll be shocked. It will have an impact, a massive impact on your economy. But Nigeria is Nigerians are so intelligent. They wouldn't want to go the route of a learner because we double think before we act. But don't take that grace for too long by overstepping the boundary, because imagine if in my language they usually say that if a child cooks for the community will finish that food. The community will finish that food. But if the community prepares food, if the community prepares food for a child, that child will not be able to finish it. So South Africa, calm down. Because what you are starting, you might not be able to finish it up. Because you cannot operate in what we call in economics autarky. You cannot operate in isolation. Whatever you think you are doing there, just wait. How I even try to imagine that you were successful in sending off all African. Let's just imagine it that at the end of the day, you were successful in sending off all African migrants out of your country. You might end up being in more trouble.
Yes, as in the thing is, does that solve your challenge?
That's what I'm
your
saying.
85% land that has been given to the whites, it doesn't take it from them. The thing is, when your grief now takes you to taking the life of another person, it has gone beyond grief, as in your pain points. a life that you can't give, taking it. So what you're going through will feel for South Africans like understanding your situation, but
You know the funniest stuff, to the extent that the level of stress that they have in South Africa is so much that even there is now shortage of power, shortage of water, all the basic amenities. Why? Because of the crowding out, the crowd effects of having so many people in a clustered environment and the likes. We understand that, but my dear, what you guys need to resolve is far more than chasing out your brothers, chasing out fellow Africans. It is about you guys looking inward, addressing the origin of your challenge. And you can only do that by thinking far away from violence. Because it's not everything that is by violence. And there is also the school of thought that are saying some things that attitude also, attitude of some, I would like to use the word some because I know some South Africans that are very hardworking and the like. But please, if you're a South African, you can please drop a comment here to let us know if this is actually true. That because as people are leaving your country, I've never been to South Africa before, and I don't think I want to come to South Africa because over the years I've heard a lot of maltreatment that you have meted out to people that I know, people that I do not know in your country. So I do not look forward to coming to your country. But if maybe I come to your country, I'm definitely sure that is going to be on business trip, and immediately after my business, I get out of your country because I have never loved to be in any space where there is always chaos. I can't be sure of safety. And no. That's not. And you know what? That kind of mindset affects business. Now, your country cannot stay alone. Even North Korea cannot succeed alone. Now, if everybody boycotts South Africa, oh, let me drive home the point. Do you realize that just the recent war between US and Iran, US, Iran, and Israel ended up destroying the outstanding result of Dubai? That Dubai is now empty, that billionaires are now leaving Dubai, that billionaires are leaving Dubai. Why? Because nobody wants to stay in a place that is always filled with chaos. But let me tell you, Dubai will bounce back because Dubai is not known for such misbehavior. Now, let's come back to South Africa. South Africa has proven over time of the volatility, in short, hostility level in South Africa will not make me to wake up one day and say, you know what, children, let's go and have an holiday where South Africa, my children will not allow. They will not listen. So the same way, business transactions might start evading your country. People be like, oh no, that side is volatile. I don't want to go, and it's not maybe when I'm doing something and they just get stung by this xenophobic lifestyle and they start killing. So please, you guys need to work on that. Then the other aspect that you need to work on is so many of your ministers, so many of your political office holders, they need retraining. They need to be rebranded. You don't bring emotion to table where people can be negatively impacted. For example, remember what happened in Rwanda? It took just one person saying the wrong word over and over on the radio station. Millions of people lost their life. Took one person to just call a human being cockroaches. The power of psychological effects of wrong use of words, even when you do not mean it that way, but it sounded that way. Nobody will come and investigate what you meant in your heart. And as such, South Africans need to send their officials on trainings on effective communication that will make their words not to be easily twisted as backings for evil, as backings to perpetrate wrong acts. I want to say that no matter how everybody sees Nigeria, Nigeria is one country that no minister will come up to utter such words against another country. No, no matter how you think Nigeria is this and that. But let me tell you the funniest stuff and the coolest part. Nigeria today is going through its own challenges. And that is why countries like South Africa and some other countries of the world have the anointing, the capability to just maltreat our people, talk to our people anyhow, because we felt there is nothing they are going to do. And to the extent that some of our nationals are killed in your country, and you felt there is nothing Nigeria is going to do about it. Who is Nigeria? But it will shock you. Few years, in short, few months down the line, few years down the line, so many of you are going to be packing your bags and you'll be coming to this country.
Yes.
You'll be begging for the passport of this country. So many of you are going to be begging to be naturalized into this country. What are we going to remember you for? Are we going to remember you as that good neighbor that was there for us when our people needed just some opportunities that can be well shared? Or we are going to remember you as one of those countries that we fought for during the apartheid period, but at the end of the day, decided to rub it on our face, calling us a country of what? Of drug dealers.
You don't have to repeat the word. You don't have to reiterate it because that's not who we are.
Yeah.
So as what's it called? As content creators, as influencers, we just have to be careful of negative reiteration of words, of negative words, so that it doesn't sink. So you might even just say, okay, I don't want to say it this way because that's not who we are. And that's why we are here on this live stream. We're always here for the way out. What's the way out of this? It's not just to come and bring both heads together. No, we've sympathized with South Africans. We put ourselves in their shoe. Yeah, that's empathy, saying, okay, we can now see from where they are acting from. It's a transferred aggression. We've seen their pain points. We've seen that, yes, they have the right to be annoyed, to be angry, to be pained, and to just like come up with what they are going through. But we've seen that it has not gone to go to that extreme of taking the lives of your fellow blacks. No, it's that's terrible. That's a life that you can't give. You're taking it, and that's the fact that you've taken their life doesn't mean everything is now better. You know, the world will actually be watching that. Okay, now every African has left South Africa for you. What becomes of South Africa? So that's just it. So, and Nigerians, some Nigerians too, the bad eggs that are going there making drug what's it called, illicit, engaging in illicit
drug trafficking
and all the likes. That's not the way. Don't keep spoiling the name of Nigeria everywhere. It's
painful.
It's so painful. It's so painful. You don't keep spoiling the name of Nigeria.
Some South Africans that have their children already turned a drug addict
Yes.
They will never forget.
Forget.
They will never forgive
Yes.
that a Nigerian was part of those
that
introduced
their
this to their children.
Yes.
But that still doesn't mean
still
that
have to
it's
have-
the whole of Nigeria that are drug addicts. So, with this few conversations we've had this night, we just want everybody to chill, to relax. Africa is going to be great again, but we must all work together.
So,
Okay, so we'll be calling it tonight. We thank everyone that has joined us on this live stream. In case you are joining this live stream for the first time, don't forget to like our videos, subscribe to our channel, and please give one or two comments about what we've discussed today. We can learn from you, especially our fellow South African brothers and sisters, Nigerians. Please drop a comment to clarify of the discussions that we had here, and let us remember we are brothers. We are not fighting. Thank you so very much from Toluani.
okay, it's been a great time. Thank you very much to South Africans, to Nigerians, and to the whole of Africa. We are brothers. So let's not go to war with each other. Let's learn to forgive. Let's create a place in our heart to forgive our differences, and let's come together again. Thank you very much. Till we come your way next time, don't forget the joy therapy. Make sure you keep your joy because that's your strength and that's your life. And I get my strength from the Holy Spirit. So make sure you find your strength. Thank you.
See you next week, Sunday at 10. Bye bye.